What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. So before you guys say anything, yes, I know I've been slacking on the content lately. Been real busy with work and been waiting on parts for all the project vehicles, but I promise you I'm going to start getting that content out for you guys again, at least one video every week or two. But for today's video, we're getting back to work on one of the channel's favorite. That's the 48 Ford. So this is what I have planned for today. I'm actually going to start working on the steering setup. Now, this is the stock steering box. It's normally located inside the frame rail right here. What basically I'm going to do is actually improve the steering geometry, and I'll go into a lot more details on that later. But before I even do that, one of the first things I need to do is yank out this engine, because I need to trim these ugly engine plates for multiple reasons. One, just to make them look better. Two, to give me more clearance for the steering box. And three, to be able to mount the cylinder head on, because as of right now, I'm not able to fully seat the driver's side cylinder head because it hits this motor plate. So I'm going to mount, once these engine plates are trimmed, I'm going to go ahead and put the engine back in, mount the cylinder head, mount the header, and that way I can make sure I got good enough clearance for the new location of where I plan on putting the steering box. So let's go ahead and get to work. Huge improvement on looks, but before I reinstall the engine, I'm going to show you guys the steering setup. So this is the original location of the steering. As you can see, at this ride height, it's kind of hard, I got this jack in the way. At this ride height, you can see that the drag link is pointed downwards. So this will cause some steering geometry issues. So when it's actually cycling through the suspension travel, it'll cause bump steer. So you want this drag link level at ride height, and you see that it's down a few good degrees. So my plan is to actually relocate the steering box up above this frame and then build some support brackets to hold it and secure it in place. But I just wanted to show you the original layout before I start modifying it. So I'm going to go ahead and start possibly either remove the steering shaft completely or trim it back, and then get this engine reinstalled and go from there. So I went ahead and got all the steering brackets prepped and ready to be installed. I ended up welding on some studs just to give it a cleaner look. And then here's some gussets and another support piece. So I'm going to go ahead and install it on the frame and then start welding it up. I'm really liking how the steering is turning out so far. So as you guys saw, I went ahead and installed the steering box. I got this longer pitman arm installed. It's 1.5 inches longer than stock. It's actually for a Chevy pickup truck. So I'll put a link down in the description of the parts I've used so far. But with this being longer, it's actually going to help with the steering ratio. So essentially less turns for lock to lock. Now that that's set, I went ahead and measured for the drag link. This is actually 1.25 inch 120 wall chromoly, so it's going to be super strong. I'm going to go ahead and remove it, weld it, and then we'll finish up the project. So I got the drag link all welded up and installed. I think it turned out pretty rad. So the next component I need to make to complete the steering system is a steering rod that connects both spindles. So what I'm going to end up using is some 1-inch chromoly, a couple of Heims, and then I got these tie rod to Heim adapters. So that way I could just bolt them up to the spindles without drilling them out. I'm going to go ahead and get these installed, measure for the steering rod, get it cut, and then we'll start welding. So I didn't show the install of the steering rod because there's not much to show, but it's in there. Got about a 1/4 inch clearance between the steering rod and the leaf spring, so we're good there. But I'm really stoked with how the system turned out overall. I accomplished exactly what I set out to do, which was correct the steering geometry, make it adjustable, make it super strong. And then on top of all that, it just looks rad as hell. But I still need to rebuild the steering box and then eventually build the steering column, but that could be done at a later date. And then with these engine plates, huge improvement. Now that they're trimmed, I can actually start mocking up the turbo kit in some future videos. Before I end this video, I have a huge announcement to make. The channel officially has merch for sale for the very first time. I just recently stocked the store with some shirts and hoodies. I'm actually wearing one of the hoodies right now. So if you're interested, make sure you go check them out quickly because I have a limited supply and they're going fast. I also want to take this opportunity to thank all my Patreons. You guys are rad as hell. Also, don't forget to check out my social medias, links down in the description. But I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. As always, I appreciate you guys checking out these videos, and I'll see you next time.